Welcome to World Prism. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a stunning and unanimous 9-0 ruling, the Supreme Court has sent shockwaves through the nation, capturing the attention of citizens, lawmakers, and legal scholars alike. With this landmark decision, the court has fundamentally altered the landscape of Second Amendment law, reshaping the boundaries of gun rights and government authority in America. The case at the heart of this moment, United States versus Miller, centered on whether the federal government could temporarily confiscate firearms from individuals deemed an imminent threat by a court of law. The court upheld a narrow federal law, emphasizing the importance of due process and judicial oversight in such cases. This decision, remarkable for its consensus, signals a powerful, unified message from the nation's highest court, a message that transcends partisan divides and speaks directly to the heart of American constitutional values. Rather than endorsing widespread or unchecked confiscation, the court carefully carved out a constitutionally permissible exception for extreme risk protection orders, commonly known as red flag laws, designed to prevent tragedy before it strikes. The ruling strikes a delicate balance between the cherished right to bear arms and the state's compelling interest in preventing violence, making clear that the Second Amendment, while fundamental, is not without reasonable limits. Under the law at issue, family members or law enforcement officials can petition a federal court to temporarily remove firearms from someone who is showing clear and convincing evidence of dangerous behavior, ensuring that intervention is both targeted and justified. Chief Justice Roberts, writing for the court, emphasized that these orders, when accompanied by robust judicial review and procedural safeguards, fit squarely within the nation's long-standing tradition of disarming individuals who pose a genuine threat to themselves or others. Gun rights groups, many of whom had anticipated a deeply divided decision, were left stunned by the court's unanimity. The ruling defied expectations and prompted immediate debate across the country. Meanwhile, gun control advocates saw new hope for meaningful reform, viewing the decision as a turning point in the ongoing struggle to reduce gun violence and protect communities. The ruling provides, for the first time, a clear constitutional foundation for a tool long championed by gun safety advocates, potentially paving the way for similar laws in states across the nation. For Americans everywhere, the decision forces a new and urgent national conversation about where to draw the line between individual rights and collective safety. A debate that will shape the future of the Second Amendment for generations to come. The court's decision in Miller is rooted in a deep dive into historical legal traditions, offering a fresh perspective on how the Second Amendment has been interpreted over time. The justices examined English common law and early American statutes, finding a long-standing practice of temporarily disarming those deemed dangerous, a practice that stretches back centuries and reflects society's ongoing effort to balance individual rights with public safety. Colonial-era laws allowed officials to seize weapons from those threatening violence, demonstrating that even in the earliest days of the Republic, lawmakers recognized the need for targeted intervention to prevent harm. Surety laws required individuals to post bonds for keeping the peace, serving as an early form of accountability and a deterrent against reckless behavior with firearms. These historical analogs, the court argued, justify modern extreme risk protection orders, drawing a direct line from past practices to present-day legal tools designed to prevent tragedy before it occurs. The ruling marks an evolution in originalism, recognizing a tradition of regulation to prevent misuse, not just a right to self-defense. It signals a willingness to interpret the Constitution in light of both historical context and contemporary challenges. Even the court's most ardent originalists found the historical evidence compelling, acknowledging that the founders themselves endorsed certain limits to protect the community. The decision distinguishes targeted red flag laws from broader bans, emphasizing individual assessment over sweeping restrictions and ensuring that due process remains at the heart of any intervention. By anchoring its decision in specific historical practice, the court created a narrow but solid constitutional path for this type of regulation, carefully threading the needle between liberty and security. The broader protections of the Second Amendment remain intact for most citizens, reaffirming the right to bear arms while allowing for reasonable, historically grounded safeguards to protect the public. The groundwork for this unanimous ruling was laid by the 2022 Bruin decision, which required gun laws to align with historical tradition. Initially seen as a win for gun rights, Bruin's historical test became the very tool used to defend red flag laws in Miller. Both sides scoured history, but the government found ample precedent for temporarily disarming dangerous individuals. The Miller decision shows the Bruin test can uphold certain gun safety laws, not just strike them down. This strategic consensus reshapes Bruin's legacy, revealing it as a double-edged sword. The court's unity in Miller proves that clear historical evidence can bridge ideological divides. The Bruin and Miller decisions are now forever linked in Second Amendment law. The Supreme Court's ruling in Miller will have immediate consequences for state and federal legislation. For the 20 states with red flag laws, the decision provides a constitutional shield, ending legal uncertainty and likely dismissing pending lawsuits. States without such laws now have new momentum, as lawmakers can point to the court's unanimous approval. This could break legislative gridlock and spark a wave of new bills modeled on the validated federal statute. At the federal level, the ruling solidifies the national red flag law and may inspire Congress to consider other regulations grounded in historical tradition. However, the court set clear boundaries, warning against broader gun control measures lacking historical support. Any new laws will be scrutinized under the Miller and Bruin precedents. The ruling creates a narrow channel for new legislation, focusing efforts on targeted, historically defensible measures. The public and political reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling has been swift, passionate, and deeply polarized. Across the country, people are glued to their screens, debating the implications with friends, family, and even strangers online. The decision has become a flashpoint, igniting conversations in homes, workplaces, and on social media. Gun control advocates hail the decision as a landmark victory, celebrating what they see as a turning point in the fight against gun violence. Many point to the court's unanimity as a powerful mandate, using it to push for more red flag laws and broader reforms. For them, this is a moment of hope and renewed momentum. On the other side, gun rights groups feel betrayed by the ruling. They warn of a slippery slope, arguing that this decision could erode fundamental freedoms. In response, they are mobilizing protests, launching legal challenges, and rallying their supporters to defend what they see as core, constitutional rights. Politicians who support red flag laws claim vindication, seizing the moment to advance their legislative agendas. Meanwhile, staunch Second Amendment defenders face a difficult dilemma. Should they openly criticize the court, or try to downplay the ruling's significance to avoid alienating voters? The decision is already reshaping electoral politics, making support for red flag laws a central campaign issue in upcoming elections. Candidates on both sides are recalibrating their platforms, aware that voters are watching closely. Moderates in both parties now have a powerful, court-approved talking point. They see an opportunity to bridge divides and appeal to voters who want both safety and respect for rights. For the public, the debate has shifted. It's no longer just about whether red flag laws are needed, but about how they're implemented, who decides, and what safeguards are in place to protect individual rights. The ruling has redrawn the battle lines, intensifying the cultural and political conflict over guns. Communities are more engaged than ever, and the stakes feel higher on both sides. Now the conversation centers on fairness and due process in applying these laws, raising new questions about justice, liberty, and the future of gun policy in America. The Miller ruling has deepened the divide between advocates and adversaries of gun regulation. Gun control supporters see the decision as a pragmatic balance. No right is absolute, and red flag laws are a reasonable safeguard. They point to due process protections and historical precedent as validation. Gun rights advocates, however, view the ruling as a betrayal, arguing that confiscation before a crime violates due process and presumption of innocence. They fear abuse and see the court's reliance on historical analogs as flawed, warning of a slippery slope. For them, only a criminal conviction should justify disarmament. The ruling, they argue, is the first step toward broader infringements on gun ownership. As the dust settles, the future of gun rights and regulation in America is more complex than ever. Legal battles will now focus on how red flag laws are applied, evidence standards, duration, and restoration of rights. Each procedural detail will be contested, defining the boundaries of due process. Gun control advocates will seek other regulations with historical support, shifting strategy to meticulous, history-based arguments. Gun rights groups will litigate the application of these laws and develop counter-narratives, funding their own legal historians. The Miller decision moves the debate from broad philosophy to granular legal and historical detail. The future of gun laws will be shaped by incremental legal challenges, all under the shadow of Bruin and Miller. This new era forces both sides to engage with history, defining the contours of American gun rights for generations.